Episode 6, we are live, and since we last chatted, the Masters has happened. It now seems like a distant memory. Your prediction of the Shambo looked good for a couple of days. Was, I suppose, inevitable in the end, but did you take anything of value from watching it? What did you perceive? What did you take on?
Just, I suppose the thing really is understand. I never thought I'd see a performance like Tiger Woods in his heyday in my lifetime again. You know what I mean? And then he wins in Hilton Head again, and like just so dominant, and it's just so calm, and it's I know he kind of leans on the Bible a little bit, and that's fine. That's his belief, like. But amazing, I suppose, if you are or if you can get into that mindset. What a nice place to be. Like, someone told him his victory was nailed on the cross before he played, so he's just out there hitting shots. Like, it's funny, but it wouldn't be my mindset personally, but it's other people's mindsets. But he's going to be a hard man to beat. Like,
And at the moment, do you think like he's up there with the likes of Tiger in terms of he'll get his 15 majors, or where do you think he is?
I'm not sure about the major thing, but he definitely could win the Grand Slam this year. Obviously, if he keeps playing the way, it depends. Like, obviously, you can get a windy open, and it can go either way. But yeah, I think he could. Look, 15 majors, who knows? But the I suppose the dominance of how he's doing it this year is very similar to Tiger when he was he was hammering everybody. Like, but it's the same type of thing. It's kind of, I've never, when Tiger was the man, if he was leading on Sunday, you're like, sure, it's done. And even the odds suggested it's similar. You know what I mean? Like, Scheffler's odds are similar to Tiger's odds, which is bananas. And then he wins. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was interesting.
When you were watching, like you're obviously taking in more than again the casual golf fan, or like are you intrigued in terms of how they play a hole when they hit a certain shot? Are you like, I would have done this differently there? Why did they do this? Or did those things
Just how good a driver he is, and some of those holes camber from left to right. He doesn't seem to either draw or fade it. He just pounds it up the middle of the fairway. And down the stretch, did not look like faltering whatsoever. Has a lovely dialogue with the caddy. They just seem like they're two lads out there hitting shots, like, and sure, he got it. He got it over the line very easily. And same thing in Hilton Head. It was just like not a bother. They're executing the shots. If there's any little crisis that happens, they just get on with it, and he gets over it, and that's it. It's just very hard to beat.
We chatted about that a few days after the Masters, and Aberg's reaction to putting it in the water was a smile rather than like. Is that a common theme that runs through the best? Have you seen?
It seems to be, but like probably the Masters was over at that point. I never personally didn't think Morikawa was going to really threaten, but I thought Aberg would, and I was just, grand, fair enough, hats off. You're going for it, like, trying to hit a big high draw to the front pin on 11 is probably a crazy shot, but you pull it off, you're a hero. But anyway, he overdid it, hit in the water. But his attitude was like, I've said it to a couple of the young lads up here, like, Christ, if there's any learning out of the Masters, it's his attitude and demeanour, So he's nailed on to be I suppose, the heir apparent to the guy that's going to challenge Scheffler for everything, which would be great to see two guys like that having I suppose a battle over the years or whatever. But yeah, Jesus, it's that's very admirable. I suppose that was the one thing that jumped out at me out of the whole thing, or even a learning that, there's a guy enjoying it. He was giving it everything. He didn't. Off, and that was that.
Well, back to your season, and you've obviously been hard at it over the last few weeks, working on a bit of a tweak in your swing and so on. So my first question would be, does that tweaking ever end? Like, at what point for how long have you been in a moment where you're happy with your swing and it lasts, rather than where we are kind of right now?
Yeah, I suppose you're always, I suppose me anyway, it's always a maintenance thing. I'm always trying to get my swing. I do have a fundamental fall to my swing that is just, and after I had no preparation really for the West of Ireland, and came away from that tournament accepting that was the situation, took away some good stuff, but I'm not going to another tournament again unprepared. And I've worked pretty hard now since the West on various things, trying to tackle this fault, predominantly in my backswing, and some days are great. It's funny when you get a new feel and you I'm the type of guy who gets something quickly, but then I'll overdo it, which is where I am today, because I played this morning now completely overdoing it, but stuck with it, which I'm happy with. played okay score-wise, but I was absolutely all over the golf course because it's just still doesn't feel great. It looks okay on camera, and I know I've been down that road so many times. You just don't panic. You have to kind of stay with that. So we're a week away from the Munster Stroke Play, a place I'm very comfortable in and I enjoy playing. And I just love to get to a point where I'm comfortable off the tee. Um, I'm pretty comfortable around the greens anyway, and I think that'll be enough. You know, you can work on your yardages and your numbers and kind of dial all that in. And it's the type of course you can get off to a quick enough start and build a score early. So yeah, I've been working a lot on my technique in the gym and on the range. I've been playing Cork every Tuesday morning early. We go down there. It's a buddy of mine caddying for me. He's going down there with me, and we're doing our bits around the golf course. Actually, last week I was working on certain tilts, and you know, this is all part of it. Strained, complete neck strain, like, and then, but you're kind of saying madly enough, all right, well look, there's something different going on there, so stick with that. That's getting there now. But yeah, it's a total merry-go-round. At times you're like, Christ Almighty, and then there's always a school of thought, oh, swing your swing. But I always say, yeah, it's grand to swing your swing when your swing is efficient, causes you no problems, blah 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 blah. But you do have to always have, in my mind, a technical awareness. So that's kind of the space I'm in right now. But again, it's I've been down that road a million times, and you might have a session or a couple of shots, and you go, yeah, I can do, and like, I'm not playing poorly. It's just to get into that real comfortable phase where you can get yourself into the zone, basically. And then get your confidence up and go from there, you know?
Yeah, and just on the actual swing change in the backswing, would you be comfortable kind of describing, like, first of all, the feel that you're looking for and why you're looking for that feel?
Yeah, well, my fundamental swing fall, I've no problem saying it, is the gravity of my golf club tends to move opposite to every best player in the world. So I'm always managing the golf club a different way to most, which can be a very frustrating place to be. And I'm always on the edge of that. So basically, the top of my backswing into my downswing, sometimes I would marginally steepen the club. Sometimes you wouldn't even notice it, and then get it on playing late. And then I tend to be quite good through the ball. And then you're always trying to play with marrying the face up with the plane and have all that move together. So yes, I get very strong in my left hand, which then in turn I pull down quite a lot, so that will obviously pitch the shaft the wrong way, or the wrong way for me. So it can be very tough, very difficult. So I played now this morning with a very weak left hand, so I actually drew lines on my golf glove not to come out of that, and just to keep me locked into that. So I felt I was going to hit everything 50 yards right, so then I started hitting everything 30 yards left, which was fine. But then I was videoing every swing, so it looks, the lines of it are good. They're really good, actually. And yeah, that's the way I do it. It's just the way I do it. So I've had loads of good days and good success with this way of preparing. But the key is you don't panic. You just say, right, here's today. Does it look better? I know today some of the swings were lovely. You know, the club was actually softening. The shots weren't good, but that's fine. I can work on that then next. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at.
So we chatted recently again. You were saying to me about you just have to trust a feel on the course then, which is people are obviously slow to do. You resort to default. But for you, so is it a case of implementing the change immediately and, as you said, sticking with it, or right now or in the past has been more gradual?
Yeah. So if it's the right one, so I know straight away my chipping is massively improved with a weaker left hand, right? So you're kind of saying, right, there's a lot of good there. My wedge play, I hit some practice wedge shots out there now, like really nice wedge shots, proper shots, low window, loads of friction, loads of hang in the ball flight. Like, I know that's a nice move, and I know the shaft is relating to my grip and my plane, and that's all staying. So then you kind of say, right, that's lovely. And then it's funny, you get feels then from old sessions over the years that you kind of say, yeah, Jesus, I've done this before. But again, fundamentally, if the golf club is moving on plane and the face is moving in the right place with the plane of the golf club, and nothing really pitches or changes in the transition, and you manage that through the ball, that would be a pretty close description of a really repeatable, efficient golf swing for me, which is why I have no issue being uncomfortable to strive for that, because in theory, like, I don't really have much to lose. I only have anything to gain. So I don't mind trying this. Or I suppose the point is, no matter what level any golfer is at, if you're going to go down the road of a swing improvement, let's call it, you have to stick with it. Otherwise, you're trying it, you can feel the difference, and then you go to the golf course and the lessons you've got are kind of up in smoke because, no, I'll go back to what I feel is comfortable. Like, it's pointless. It's pointless.
It's very regular though, would you say that? Like,
Totally, I'd say it happens most of the time, and with club golfers, and it's like, if you're going to put in the effort to get a lesson from someone, and they've pointed out a pathway to a better swing or a more repeatable technique. This is from a putting stroke to a bunker shot to a chip shot. I think you owe the coach and yourself that to stick with it all the way through, because a lot of people aren't probably practicers, they're more players. Let's call it the general member of any golf club, which is totally fine. But again, like, if you need something you're going to improve on, I suppose my advice is you have to stay the path, you have to stay that course. So yeah, I know my movement inside out, so physically I'm moving nicely and it's all good. If I chop my arms off and I watched myself, like, yeah, you're going grand. But the club is very close to being where I like it. I haven't put this type of work in a long time, but I did say after Ross's point, like, again, it's pointless otherwise, because I'm up there kind of going, yeah, I know. Like, it really came home to me in the match against Paul in the first round. I'm trying to play shots I know I can play, particularly in wind, where I like playing in wind, that are just not happening. Like, you're like, this is bullshit, like, you know. It really is, like, so you're kind of going, you're only pissing yourself off, you know.
Gotcha.
And I suppose that's what I've learned over the years with my attitude. Like, I wouldn't lose the head on a golf course really anymore, or it just kind of says, all right, how do I assess this? Driving back from Sligo, I was like, right, number one, if this was a whiteboard, number one, no work done, right? Down from that, positives, chipping, putting, blah, 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 attitude quite good, and then work ons, you know? Because otherwise you're just showing up and you're just chancing your arm. You're kind of saying, if I hit it this week, or if I get into a rhythm, or if I shoot 68 in the first round of something. But that's not, in my mind, a professional approach. Like, so that's what I'm doing. And I might go down to Cork next week, as I say, and play a pure shite, but I don't think I will. Like, I played okay there now on Tuesday. It's funny, like, the graph of work in golf, like, when I first embraced, like, you know, maybe setting the club slightly earlier a couple of weeks ago, I absolutely, like, ripped it for a week, like, flushed it, so much heat, slightly different ball flight. I was like, yes, straight away. That has regressed a little bit over the last week, but it looks better on camera. So again, I know probably not to abandon that, and then maybe but the next few days now, I'll really harness that and really go bananas into that, and try and disassociate the outcome to the feel. So I might do a lot in a net, so you don't even see the ball flight.
Okay.
You're just working, you're videoing what you're doing physically. It's a physical training, really. And then leading into the tournament, it has to be more performance, it has to be played in. You know what I mean? You have to be almost making a deal with yourself that, no, I'm not going to look at any swings on camera because I've done enough previously, and then you just play. So the plan next week now is to play again, hopefully Tuesday morning again. I played this morning with Derek, Jack and Sean, so we'll play again next Thursday, which is a competitive 4-ball, and be ready then for Saturday.
Brilliant. I love that visual. Like, in terms of, you're saying, like, it's almost like bandwidth. How far are you from perfection, being a straight line going through the bandwidth up and down? And it's almost like in rehab where, you know, if you're helping to rehab an injury and you're working with someone one-on-one and they come back in and there might be more pain after one session, well, then you're kind of further away from the goal of perfection, really.
Yeah.
Which is something that you'll never reach, really. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah. I suppose the North Star here is having a level of comfort that you're not really not concerned, technically concerned. And then for me, then my confidence will go up. So then you're actually playing, then you're actually working on your numbers, your lines, your targets, it's easier because you're just putting a nice swing on it. The ball is going where you know or you think it's going to go, and then you just build from there. Your confidence actually builds each shot in a tournament like that. Like if I hit the first tee shot up, the first in Cork, like exactly where, and I hit a nice wedge onto that green, and I hit a lovely fade off the second tee, and I rip an iron onto the middle of the green. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've done that before. Then you might stand up in the third and pump a driver or whatever onto the green, and then you're like, right, yeah, you're in a flow. You're in your technique. You have your rehearsal. You're sticking to the process. You've done the work. It's felt very poor. Like this morning felt bloody awful, but I hit some really nice wedge shots. You know what I mean? Like really nice wedge shots, which tells me that right, something there is that line, that face and path is working nicely. Probably the worst driving round I've had, Jesus, as long as I can remember. But then when I videoed every swing, which I did, they're not bad.
Great.
You know what I mean? So then I'll chat to Noel and we'll work. Like I've already sent him swings on the course. I actually sent him one swing on the course. I said, right, that was an absolute snap hook, which I never hit, which I don't mind again because I never hit those shots.
Yeah, there's a change there.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that. Sent him the swing. He was like, yeah, it is really good. We just need to work on face through the ball. And I know what he means by that. Like, so that'll be the work on now for the next 24-ish hours.
In terms of your speed training then, so it was very interesting seeing your approach to your practice, and you chatted about block practice last week in Leopardstown and everything that goes with that. But at the moment, when you are implementing these changes, are your speed sessions being maintained, or are you exactly using the block practices you described to hit the 3 or 4 balls?
Yeah, it's all technique now at the moment. I still there was a few tee shots out there now. I tried to bring it up, and the speed is there, but it's like anything. I suppose you need to maintain that as well. And we obviously have a plan to try and do a power stroke speed program to try and get it to 140 to see if we can. And it's interesting that a couple of years ago 130 was a massive number. Now it seems to be 140. It's funny how I suppose golf 1 rep maxes are going up as well. You know what I mean? There's guys doing 130 club head speeds all day long now. Like there's 190 ball speeds everywhere. You look on Instagram, there's 190 ball speeds. It seems to be the 200 ball speed is the number. So and beyond. I suppose to answer the question, no, I suppose it's now very in a technical space. I'm happy enough with my speed. Like it's still there. I'm not concerned about that. Yeah. But for the banana speed, I suppose that'll be something we'll probably do in the next couple of months.
Brilliant. So we're on the run-in the weekend after this. We're on, Thursday. So yeah, well, the next few days of prep look like you have Cork Golf Club on Tuesday morning again. And I suppose from there on in, what will be the...
Yeah, so I'll short game. I'm going to start doing a lot of par 18s. They're so simple. You pick 9 holes around the green, you drop 9 balls, you can try and get them all up and down. You keep a score. So obviously if you do, it's par 18. And then you make them, I suppose, into, if you were to call them 9 greens, 9 ambers and 9 reds, you make kind of 9 easy ones, 9 difficult ones and 9 ridiculous ones. And just kind of put that into play, and you just take a score and you leave it, you know what I mean? So if I went down to that chipping green there, just say you'd put 9 around the fringe and you executed your routine, you hole them all out, you take your score. Ideally it's 18 or less. If that'd be brilliant. And then you go around, you kind of spread it out, different lies. That's a real kind of gauge to see where your short game is. So par 18s is a good one. And yeah, I need to do between now and Monday a lot of camera work. And then be ready really for next Tuesday to play Cork with a score in mind, really, with Anthony, who's caddying for me. So we go down and we'll try and simulate the round as we would, pick the lines, and see where it's at, basically,
Brilliant. We'll check back in after Munster Stroke Monday week. In the meantime, best of luck with the preparation. We can't wait to see how it goes.
Lovely.